Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Dr. Martha Bakian, and I have the very pleasant job of introducing Matt Cantor. And he's one of these people who had, that's his name, Matt Cantor. It's not Matt, it's not Mr. Cantor, it's Matt Cantor, that's his name. And you may have heard of him. He's well known around the community for many positive things. For his drumming, which that was a very poor imitation, but he was drumming. Okay, so he's certainly known for his drumming, and as well for his work in Chinuch around the Chicago area for years and years. And in fact, that's how I first met Matt, was through his work and tutoring work. And I don't know. He's peerless and impossible to introduce properly, so we'll just consider it done. Okay.
Thank you. As Mr. Weiss would say, thank you, Dr. B. I like that. Excuse me while I readjust. Chag Sameach. I just remembered, I wasn't planning, I had no plans for this. One of the sub-names of the school is Trailblazing, the Trailblazing School. We're trailblazing this. For many of us, please raise your hand if you've been to a Tu B'Shvat Seder before. Okay, well, people I talked to then were not representative of the sample. But I was one years ago. Never run one, and I know there's a lot of flexibility. We're blazing trails here, and I wasn't planning on starting with this, but I just thought of it, so you got to go with it. This is a school that empowers choice. So this is a compelling idea just hit me. It's the joke my father told every Tu B'Shvat. Every year? It wasn't really a joke, it was just a lie. Every year. He said, Tu B'Shvat, he said, Tu B'Shvat, 3 B'Shvat. Okay, 4 B'Shvat, it's my last offer. But 3 B'Shvat, it seems we right now, this beautiful school, growing, fledgling, striving school, right now has 3 students. So we have 3 B'Shvat. As we're holding right now, we have 3 in Shvat. So this was my father, just to use that joke every year, so we'll harness it further. But welcome on behalf of the school and everyone of the students, faculty, board of directors, etc. Welcome. It's a very special night and special day. It is now Tu B'Shvat in Chicago and, of course, in Israel, most of the world, and a lot of energy to tap into. Of course, like any Seder, this is a Tu B'Shvat Seder, like any Seder. We're eager to learn. We're looking forward to tasting, having meaning of foods. Like the other Seder, I'm not going to mention the name of that holiday. I mean, put it this way, 60 days from now is Purim. 30 days later is another holiday that begins with P. I'm not going to say what it is, because it strikes fear. But there's a Seder involved. And we know Seder is mindful eating, as the ad said, eating with kavanah. And it's a night of Torah study. And Torah study involved with significant foodstuffs. Foods from Israel, foods that are linked to Israel, and other categories of foods that each have their meaning and symbolism. The Jew looks around the world, you see meaning in anything, everything, and tonight the focus is on seeing it in food. Is the meaning actually there? Well, sure it is, if you see it and if you actually internalize it, and if it means something to you, if it speaks to you. But it's a night on a day of a lot of power. I came across that. And thank you to Rabbi Yochanan Posner for help with this biography. The father of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Levi Yitzchak Schneerson, he wrote a compilation called Lekutei Levi Yitzchak. But how he wrote it, and one of the things he wrote, is very significant to get us started here tonight in terms of the depth of learning here in Tu B'Shvat. It was very poor. There was not paper to write on, for the most part. There was not ink. So he would write in the margins of other books that he had. You can find pictures. I've seen it, that in just a chumash, he would write in the margins. When he ran out of room in the margins, he was done writing. There was no paper. There wasn't much ink either. So, Rabbi Posner told me, his wife, Rabbi Chana, would go out and collect certain kinds of berries. Collect berries, take those berries, concentrate on whatever it was, and provide her husband, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak, with ink to write his chidushin and his deep mystical insights. And so it was. So that's worth mentioning right there. But he says something about Tu B'Shvat. He says Tu B'Shvat has potential for a gilui of the Shekhinah, revelation of Hashem, in a very direct way. We know, and I didn't want to overdo with the charts and handouts. Don't want to be overly pedantic. It's a seder to enjoy. But we all know the name of Hashem, Hashem's real name, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. The gematria is, I'll pause because it's a seder interactive, the gematria is 26. So Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Schneerson, in the Kuti, Levi Yitzchak, says that Tu B'Shvat has that energy because here we are. It's the 11th month, the 15th day, that's 26. So he says right there is this revelation. Tu B'Shvat in classic Jewish sources, so we're going to have two main sources and then that which inspired the idea of the Seder. The two sources, we're going to have a student read one of them, is the Mishnah, Rosh Hashanah, and then the Gemara on that Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah. Over there, it's more of a legalistic definition, which we're going to spend just a couple minutes understanding, just to know what the basics, the source of Tu B'Shvat. And the other source for the Seder itself is about 500 years ago. The students of Rabbi Luria wrote a pamphlet called Pre-Eitz Hadar, 50-page pamphlet, and it's Tu B'Shvat, like Seder Haggadah. It's not really a Haggadah, there's no story, it's more of a tikkun, it's called. So those are the main sources. But Torah study is the main way we connect to Hashem, and we have a Gilui Shechina, a connection to Hashem in the date itself, as we learned from Rabbi Levi Yitzchak. And also this time of year, right now this time of year, Shvat, is a focused time of Torah study. Our greatest teacher, Moshe Rabbeinu, this was his final discourse. So we know the book of Devarim starts, it was on the first day of the 11th month, that's Shvat. And Moshe started to go over to teach the children of Israel, started teaching to them, and that lasted for the rest of his life, 37 days. So we're right in the middle of that period of learning, of reviewing, and not just reviewing, but the learning that you need to go forward, and to go forward into the promised land. So there's a lot of ideas of moving forward here in the winter. We're turning towards the second part of winter. So in the halacha, in the sources, Tu B'Shvat is an agricultural time. We're going to spend a minute or two talking about some basics. Then we'll call on a student to read the Mishnah that tells us about Tu B'Shvat. But we're talking about agricultural halachas, laws of the land. Back then, most people were farmers. Everyone was tied to the land, tied to the rain, davening for rain, and just very, very connected to the land. Tu B'Shvat, we're all kind of like farmers, and we're all connected. At the very least, we should understand basic agricultural ideas, and we'll use these as we go on today. So here, just a quick review. I think like a couple minutes starting now. Okay. Orla. Orla is the first 3 years of a tree's life. First 3 years of a tree's life, as we know, you don't eat the fruit. Okay, the 4th year is called Neta Ravai. We'll get back to that in a second. Then there's Shemitah and Yovel, right, just basics, right? A farmer goes out, looks at his field, he takes Truba. Any amount, usually 2%, gives to the Kohen, that's the K, gives to the Kohen. Okay? Then, from what's left, he takes 1/10, that's called Meiser Rishon, and he gives to the lady. Both of those are each of the 6 years. So 7-year cycle, 7th year there's no gifts, it's Shemitah, they don't collect. But years 1 through 6, there's a Truma to the Kohen, Meiser Rishon to the lady. Okay? Then, there's a second tithe. Second tithe. Meiser Sheni is given in years 1, 2, 4, and 5, and Meiser Ani in years 3 and 6. I'll put it this way. Second tithe schedule, take a look at this. You have 1, 2, then I'll put green for 3, and 4 and 5. So years 3 and 6, the second tithe is called Meiser Ani. The poor gets it. Question is, the second tithe, if you know, please answer. Please let us know. Who gets the second tithe? After you give the first tithe to the Levi, who gets the second tithe in years 1, 2, 4, and 5? This will tie into mindful kavanah. This is the idea of eating with kavanah. Who gets that second tithe? Every year there are 2 tithes given. First one is the Levi. Year 3 and 6, the poor gets it. Sheila, please.
You.
Exactly. Very good.
For your slide.
Right. You get it. Who gets that second tithe? You do. But you must eat it in Jerusalem. You must eat it in a city of holiness that's focusing your attention on purpose, on meaning. It's eating with a purpose and eating in the context of Kedusha. Whatever else you may say about it. That's who gets it. You do. It's not just agricultural. Tu B'Shvat comes in because every year you must tithe from that year's stuff. There's got to be a demarcation line. That's Tu B'Shvat. That's Tu B'Shvat. In terms of fruit, we say any fruit that has blossomed, or according to some, 1/3 of its maturation, whatever it is, let's say just flower, blossoming. Chanata, it's called. Okay? Whatever fruit has blossomed by Tu B'Shvat, all the stuff from the previous Tu B'Shvat to that Tu B'Shvat, that's 1 year, you tithe from that. And then after Tu B'Shvat is the next group from which you tithe. Okay? So that's the demarcation line. And of course, 7th year Shemitah, there's nothing given. Right? So Tu B'Shvat is that cutoff point, which is expressed in the Mishnah. It gives me great pleasure, with much pride, I call upon Chicagoland Simcha School's inaugural male student to please share that source of Tu B'Shvat with us, that Mishnah, Yehuda Weiss, please.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So I'm gonna read now. Okay, Mishnah Aleph. Arba'a Roshei Shanim Hem. Be'echad b'Nisan Rosh Hashanah l'Malachim v'Regalim. The Mishnah continues with Be'echad b'Shvat Rosh Hashanah l'Ilan K'divrei Beit Shammai Beit Hillel Omrim Be'chamisha Asar Bo. Thank you.
Go ahead. Thank you, Yehuda. Now we're on the map. Public Torah study, public Torah teaching, one of our students, we have arrived. Baruch Hashem. On the table, you actually have this. If you'd like to look at it, a nice little picture showing in pictorial form what we're talking about here. There's a table. The table says blossom on the right, blossom before Tu B'Shvat. Then it says blossom after Tu B'Shvat. And you see, you take the tithe, the 10th, well, each of the tithes from each group. You don't mix them up. Right? That's the basics of Tu B'Shvat from the Mishnah. The Gemara says a lot of things. We're not going to go into most of it. But the Gemara indicates one essential character of Tu B'Shvat. It's news we can all use. It's a groove upon which we can all rock. We can all get into. And that is the essence of what Tu B'Shvat is and why they say this is now turning towards the later part of the winter. Look outside, you don't know. It's a little warmer now. It's a little warmer, but not so much. The Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, that Mishnah, by the way, was the first Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah. So in 14a, the Gemara says that, the Gemara explains why Tu B'Shvat was chosen. And it says that by then, most of the rains have fallen. Talking about in Israel, we're tied to Israel. Most of the rains have fallen. But Rashi explains further and says, Shekvar of our rov yemos hageshamim, that the majority of the rains have now passed. Shehuzman revia, time of now growth starting. And here's the key words, which we're all going to meditate on and recreate a minute or two with our foodstuffs. Va'ala hasraf bi'ilanos. And the sraf, the sap, the inner sap, is starting to rise in the trees. And we see that now the fruits will start blossoming. They've gotten all the water, and now they're expressing independence. A lot of things you can say about that, but the main thing is the beginning, the stirring of the rising of the sap, the inner life force, which is the main focus. But to help us appreciate this focus, because after all it's a Seder, we ask you to fill your first cup. Please listen to the instructions, and that is, the first cup is all white or light, whatever you have in front of you. I understand there are more bottles of white if we need. All white with a drop of red. I mean, fill it up with white and put the littlest, smallest amount of red you can on top of that. I'll give you a couple moments to do that. Do you need more white wine? White juice?
Whatever you like.
Fill with a lighter color. Hey, you don't have to fill it up as much as you want. It's not a Pesach Seder. Some lean to the left, I understand.
Ma'am, would you like that?
Oh yes, please set me up. Thank you very much. I don't know if we need this. And then we have a drop of,
There's also this whole bottle.
give me a drop of red. It comes around.
It's like Pesach when you're trying to pretend that you're really drinking it all.
Actually, honey, maybe I should have my phone to see what time it is. My ringers are. It's very well. Yeah, sure it is.
Same thing.
Yeah, there's two lighter grape juices. There's a darker one. The first cup is all light and just a drop of red. I think it's going very well. My compliments to all for following the instructions. Let me say Hakol Biseder. Thank you very much. It truly is. It's all in this Seder. Okay, I think we've achieved the goal.
I'm kind of waving it over that, and I
Yes?
get a little color.
I like that approach. That's right. That's like red in theory.
Right.
Right. But mostly it's white. Like outside is white. Now, mostly it's melted, but there is white outside. White does represent winter, especially around here. Think of New York. Our brothers and sisters in the Heilige New York.
The Heilige.
Right?
You're a Kodesh.
You're a Kodesh. When they go out tonight, Mesiras Nefesh, to do Tu B'Shvat, kudos to them. We'll add that to our Kavana and raise our glass in a moment or two. But there you have a white Tu B'Shvat. The first cup is mostly white because it depicts what's going on outside. If you look outside, you don't see growth. You know why? Because there is no growth. At least not visibly. You don't see growth. But we learned that even though you don't see growth, what's going on? Inside, deep within, there is the beginning of growth. There is stirring. There is a movement that's just starting. Not visible, but it's starting to happen. The first cup, which is mostly white, but the inner little red is there also. The first cup honors potential. We recognize and honor the power of potential, of stirrings. Any learning, any achievement starts with stirrings. It is to be hoped that that is honored and nourished, given space to be nourished, which of course is what a school is all about also. So we prepared that. Right. Okay, so with that in mind, feeling your own inner strivings, your own sense of movement, even in winter or in tough times, we raise our glass, I'll raise mine also. Please have in mind when you make the bracha that it will cover all the cups. Unlike a Pesach Seder, we make a bracha tonight only once. But have in mind it'll cover all. So the same sitting, so it's not as crucial, but I want to be mindful. Have in mind that it covers all the cups tonight. But again, there's that kavana, and again, main kavana is honoring potential and the beginnings of growth as we begin this evening. Together, please. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei uri hagafen.
Amen.
Chaim. Before I go on, let me just refer to this. We have things from the ground. Adama is from the ground. So the word Adama, how are your stirrings? Did the grape juice help?
Oh yeah.
Or does it quench it? Does it extinguish it? We're just getting started. Adama, things coming from the ground. We're celebrating that tonight. All this beautiful stuff we'll get to. Adama, so Adam is from Adama. Adam is the ground, physical plus Yad Hashem. It's Adama. But also, besides Adama, the same letter is Adameh, which means I will emulate. I will emulate. So that's also ties into what Levi Yitzchak said, the great potential and contact with the Shekhinah. The whole goal of a Jew, of a person, is to go beyond the base and go higher and more connected. Adama, to be Shvat is connected to the land, the ground, is Adameh. I will emulate. I will seek to be like. Whatever virtues there are. But now we're talking about the inner stirrings of virtues. And we did that with our grape juice. The white liquid mostly. This is also expressed now in the food stuff. The first category of food is food that has inedible shell or peel. Inedible shell or peel. What we know the outside is inedible. We focus our attention on the goodness of the internal. The goodness of the internal, the goodness and the deliciousness of the core. We all have a delicious core, right? Okay, different ways. But that there's a goodness there, in Ne'ilah you touch that part that's never extinguished and can't be touched at all. All right, so we all have that inner core, and that's the first category of fruits. So please, so there's two foods in front of you. One, the nuts, and the orange will also work. Take either one, but you should do some activity of removing the outer peel. You could just eat an orange with a wedge, but take a moment or two, and you can crack walnuts, peel a little orange, and remove the inedible outer, focusing on the inner goodness of the fruit. We are a kraken. We're going to say what's a moment. That's right. So I would say just the bowl of nuts, either nuts you want, and the oranges. As you're doing it, feel free to talk also while I'm talking. It's really fine now. But walnuts, they say, have two main parts. Actually, it has 4 sections of nuts, right? Look at a walnut, there are 4 sections. I saw one place, it's like God's name. There are 4 letters of God's name. You can choose to see that meaning in there. There's an outer shell and an inner shell. You got to crack physical and spiritual. But now I will tell you, there's a secret nut buried in your bowl.
There's a secret nut.
There's a secret nut. I offer you the opportunity and the challenge to find the few pistachios in your bowl of nuts. Because you see, when it comes to pistachios, there's an outer inedible shell, but you can see the potential within by just looking at it. And that's great when you see people that way. So find the pistachio, and before you crack it open, if you choose to, notice the inner goodness, the inner potential that is visible even from the outside. There's pistachios in your bowl of nuts,
Right.
a few.
And what is that symbol?
Find them. It's also a food, a nut, with an inedible exterior and an edible core. So it's the idea of the internal growth, the internal goodness that you got to get. But the thing is, the main thing I said was, pistachio,
the inner potential.
Pistachio, you can see the delicious core without cracking it. you already see the potential just looking at the thing, or the person, or whatever it is. Still got to work on cracking it. Some people are tough enough to crack. I don't know how you are. But I digress. Yes, please.
And the statues are not like actual
Beautiful. Right. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm doing this, I'm not doing that. I'm being statues.
We had a comment that Yaakov sent Yosef the statue nuts. So it runs deep. Thank you. All right, so we're just not eating yet. Hopefully not. Have cracked them. We're all ready, and we're eating with kavanah and mindfulness. All right. So we have in mind this idea of you got to crack the outer shell to get to the inner goodness, or even when you see the inner goodness, you got to crack through it. So we'll have this in mind, but also very important as we make the bracha, which is break ha'etz. Also have in mind that bracha will cover every ha'etz of the evening, including the fruit, the ha'etz products that are not in front of us. Some are covered, and that's because those are the 7 species. If we had the 7 species in front of us, the halacha would be you'd have to eat those first. So I want to give public thanks to Rabbi Yaakov Friedman, Dayan of the CRC, who I consulted with. And he very graciously talked me through it. He said it should be not only on the buffet, but covered. And thank you to Michael for covering them, of course. So that's covered. So, but we'll have in mind that the ha'etz will go on all those fruits of Eretz Yisrael as well. I don't think there's any ha'adama tonight. Am I right? It's all ha'etz? I think so. So, now that we've taken the effort to break through the outer shell.
Bananas are
Oh, bananas are done. Okay, thank you. So, take your food stuff that you cracked or peeled to get to, and appreciate and enjoy the fruits of your labor, or the nuts of your labor. Yes, and we'll make the bracha mindfully. Have in mind it covers all the fruit of the evening, and we'll connect to B'Shvat through our first fruit of the tree. Together, bracha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'etz. Wash it down with whatever this is. While we're enjoying that fruit of the tree, invigorated by our bracha and our kavanah of inner goodness, a word from our sponsor. Tree. Everybody see this? We'll see it. Okay? Eitz. Ayin Tzaddik. Gematria. Gotta do Gematria. Gematria is good. Gematria of Eitz is 160. Throughout the evening, we'll see different, at appropriate times hopefully, different expressions of this gematria, of this numerical value. One, so far we have is noam, it's pleasantness. Sometimes it's an inner pleasantness. It's there, maybe a rough exterior, but eitz, the idea of eitz itself, says there is some inner pleasantness. While you enjoy for a moment of this quick meditation, you've peeled. Those peels will be tossed away. And in fact, while I read this, you may want to make a gesture, symbolic, just a motion, push them away, push them aside of your plate. And we have this idea. As you toss away the peels and the shells, see one of your bad character traits, anger, impatience, etc. One or more. Thank you. To see a bad character trait or traits that you have, see it being tossed away, like this outer shell. After all, you want to get to the inner goodness. You can identify something that's preventing that inedible shell, you toss that away. In your mind's eye, picture somehow the bad trait in that shell or in that peel. Then, as you toss it away, feel the trait leaving you. That's not the real you. It's not the real you. The real you is the fruit. Delicious and nourishing. See the trait, the bad trait over there, see that going into the garbage, and you distance it. You take it away.
We love that.
So enjoy that.
We like that.
Oh, very nice. And as you do that, we'll appreciate this gematria that go along with that. 8's 160. And please check my math. 8's 160 is Yod Heh Sod. That he knows the secrets, the foundations. After all, that's the core. We're talking about the core. Yod Heh Sod knows the secrets. Also, no Daki. We know that. We know that whatever it is. To get to where we have to go. We know internally. And Yakim, he will fulfill. Once you have an early stirring and a potential, then the next step is follow through, which will go on to the next part of the Seder. That's the meditation here. Feel the inner goodness. Okay, very nice. We can't stop there. We have to go on. Do you want to go on?
Yes, please.
Yes? All right, we've celebrated potential, we've celebrated the core, the inner goodness. Now we go on. So we go on, we pour the second cup, or just add to it, whatever it is, but the second cup should be a little more red. If you're starting from scratch or whatever it is, the proportions, keep in mind, are 3/4 white, 1/4 red. Thanks for topping me off. Because we're getting more red, we're starting to warm up here on the turning point of winter. By the way, is this really the halfway point of winter?
No.
In a way, it is. There's a thing called meteorological winter. You know when meteorological winter starts?
No.
I'll tell you. Meteorological winter starts December 1st, and it goes to March 1st. So we're just past halfway by a few days. In terms of that. I mean, leap year like this, Hebrew leap year, Tuishvat is early, but we're still past halfway in meteorological winter.
Not when a meteor falls. It's not when a meteor falls.
No, it's not. In which case, I guess we can use those shells that we threw out to protect ourselves. They're used to everything.
Did you get it right?
I'll take an orange for later. I went with the nut. There you go. Okay. Second glass is poured. Yes. All right, so we're starting to warm up. We feel more warmth, and now there is actual visible growth. We've accessed the internal stirrings of the growth within, but you don't stop there. You actualize in a nourishing environment, such as a great school. Yep. That's right. We're all hanging out.
Everything that's possible in this school, right?
Anything is possible. Many forms of learning. So now we notice and take pleasure in the good character and virtues that are visible around you. And we appreciate that we can see the growth. So with that in mind, that appreciating visible virtue, and also as we raise our glass, let's raise our glass now. As we raise our second cup, we move quickly here. The streamlined Seder could go for hours, we have short time. But as you raise your glass, honoring now external growth and visible progress, visible virtues, I would say also just for a moment, honor the goodness and virtues of others around you. Perhaps with a nod, or just recognition. Okay, yes, hello, you are good, there is goodness. May it be more, bracha for more. Recognize that virtue all around, and we drink together no bracha, l'chaim to all the good people. All of us. Such goodness. On to the food components of moving from internal to external. We don't just stop at internal growth, we go on, we take action. So now the fruits we eat, to express this, are fruits with edible exterior parts. The exterior, the outside is edible, but with inedible interiors. but all the stone fruits, anything with seeds, that kind of thing. So please prepare that. I think there are cherries. We'll work for that. There are pretty much cherries everywhere right now, right? Take some cherries. You can go ahead and start eating. We already made the bracha, so.
Does the Gemara say anything about what one does with the pit and how one uses it?
On Shabbos, there's such discussion. But thank you for asking. There is, Lillian asked about the pit. There is literature on the pit, which we're going to talk about also, because let's go and talk about that now. As we enjoy the external goodness, right, there is an internal part, but it's not going to go to waste. In terms of this internal, it's not like a shell, it's not like a peel. It has potential to grow. It has potential for more life. You're good. Yeah, thank you. I'll take one. So there is now actual potential in this inner pit as we enjoy the outer side of it. Now, the thing is about the pit, the seed, look, we know what a seed is, we know what a seed does, but it's a Seder. Let's really appreciate this. Focus on what the idea of a seed is. You have the external goodness, you have the internal seed. And Lillian, thank you for focusing our attention. Look, we know what a seed is. A seed leads to great growth. It can produce growth in yield and bracha and bounty. Yeah? But how does it work? How does a seed work? You put a seed in the ground, what happens? It disintegrates. It gets broken down. And then it begins to grow. Sometimes you gotta break things down and see what's important and then grow from that. We'll do another meditation on the pit itself. Okay? You see the seed in front of you as you're enjoying the fruit? Okay, now imagine one of your bad traits as this seed. Really see it. We're going to go higher than last time. We're not just going to throw it away. Imagine one of your bad traits as this seed. Really see it. Then, now, see that trait in some way growing and developing into something great. This trait no longer holds you back, but propels you forward. Many, if not all, great people have turned their faults into assets. You too can become great, and that's what is called tshuva me'ahava. As we know, tshuva is done with a sense of love and connection, not from fear, but a sense of belonging and connection and love, that even your past misdeeds become merits. That's what you see now in seeing this pit, the seed, the cherry pit. As you appreciate the outer goodness, the inner goodness the inner badness can now be turned into good. Very nice. Amen. The gematria that goes with that. What could it be? What else could 160 be? Let's take a look. Actually, before that, look at the word eights itself. How do you spell eights? 2 letters. Anybody? Ayin? Ayin? Eights is 3. 2 letters. Ayin Sadik. Ayin Sadik.
Got the
Bottom of the E.
What?
tree.
TR.
You know that they're paying
It's
attention.
not Trey. If you pass the test, it worked. Flying colors, A+.
Tree.
Oh, it's a combination.
Tree.
I think I'll make like a tree and move on now. Okay. So bearing in mind that this should be 2 E's, and there helps you visualize it. So Ayin Sadik. Those are letters. What do those words mean? Ayin Sadik. See the Tzaddik. See the Tzaddik in yourself. This is 8s, right? See the Tzaddik in yourself. See it in others. It's now visible. Before it was internalized. We said the people in Sfad, it wasn't Haggadah. The Pesach Seder was called a tikkun. So let's do tikkun. Thank you to my sister-in-law Valerie. We do a tikkun. We complete here at the Seder. We have now made a tree. Thank you. And now we can see the tzaddik. All the tzaddikas. Thank you. Ayin Tzaddik, you see the Tzaddik, it's now visible. So now we see the enhanced vision. We still have the core center, but now it's externalized, and we can move forward. Now, what else could there be? We had the internal strivings. We had the idea for growth. We now manifest that we have had actual growth. Let me go back here. Oh yeah, sorry. The gematria for the second one, first of all. The gematria for the second one is, what else is 160? Lekanes, to gather. Good, please check my math. Lekanes is to gather, because for visible growth, you have to gather in all the sources, and it becomes obvious. People can see the gathering, how you gather things together, and there is growth. Also, 168 is Nisi, which means miracle, but we know Nace means a banner for all to see. That's what a Nace is. The copper snake was put on a Nace, Simo saw a Nace. So 8 also has the numerical dimension shared with Nisi. And last thing is, 160 is also Lech Nace. Using Nace, if I may, as a verb. Go and miracle. Go and miracle as a verb. That's 160 also, as you externalize that internal growth, that internal striving. Bring it to fruition and more. As you do it, find other strivings and bring that out also. Go and miracle as you go. Amen. So now, third cup. Let's move on. Third cup, after the third cup and the food goes with it, we'll have the buffet. The third cup is half and half. So add a little red. Start again. Do a little bit. Please top me off. Do we need more red? Okay. Third cup is half and half, equal amounts of red and white. You can pour either one first. We here at Chicago and Simcha Schools encourage choice. You can pour either one first. You can have as much as you want in this Seder context. We're now getting warmer and warmer. We now take the internal wisdom, potential, the stirrings and strivings, and we connect it now with the external, and we are integrated. We have a sense of integration as opposed to conflict. Because as you achieve, as you see the tzaddik, there's less disparity between the inside and outside. That is to be hoped more and more. So with that in mind, raise your glass. Again, no bracha. L'chaim, the integration. I see the grapes have arrived, and that's good. Thank you. Because we now eat fruits that are completely edible.
And they're integrated. There's red and there's green.
They're integrated. Integrated and okay. Very good.
It's integrated peanuts.
Red grapes matter. Thank you very much. Timing. Completely edible. When the outside corresponds to the inside, we can consume it all and appreciate it all. Things are coming close now to their full potential. Even the seeds, if there were, are edible. I mean, in this category, you could have berries, strawberries, blueberries, other things with seeds. Also, later we're going to have one of the 7 species. Will be with figs. Figs are also completely edible, outside and inside. Point is, even the seeds are edible right now. They not only have future potential, like the previous pit, but are also delicious and ready to eat right now. And as you eat, another meditation. This idea. I'm going to
Okay.
Thank you very much. I want to have meditation with this handy. While we eat our completely edible fruits, think about an area of your life you would like to improve. Picture your ideal self. Go right ahead. Realize that in some way, some very real way, that is the real you. As you connect the internal idea with the external into a unified whole. And now, for the rest of Tisha B'Av, try to actually be that person. Sorry, Tu B'Shvat. It should only be. It should only be. Thank you. It's a good mistake, and thanks for catching it. Should be. For the rest of Tu B'Shvat, actually be that person. Act as if you're already there. The experience could be transformational.
Amen.
Oh, goodness.
What? Supposed to have this offer, man. I heard you to tell people if they haven't had a crazy if they
Well, you could, but we're doing that later. But feel free. The star foods for Shechana, which we're going to do a little later, kind of last phase. Wow, that was good. I felt very Seder-rific. 160, here's our gematria for this integrated section. 160 is lahachzik or lahachazik, which can mean to strengthen yourself or to hold on to. Hold on to your ideals and bring them out. Also, we have a congruency between inner striving and external manifestation. That's jamming. That's music. That's a song. That's praise. That's Hallel. 168 is Hallel Yafeh. It's a very beautiful Hallel that you sing with your life and your actions when you realize what there is to sing about. You bring out the internal into the external. And then one little giveaway, or throwaway here that works around here, when in fall the leaves turn colors. 160 happens to be the gematria of a dome that's red and yellow. So that the reflects that as well. We can enjoy that. Okay, so we've had our internal growth recognition. We've honored the internals, the strivings, I should say. We had the expression externally, with still some core to work on. And now we've worked on the core. We have outer and inner good. The next step is to take all of that. Now that we have all that, take all that and go towards more purpose and meaning and connection with the land, which we do with 7 species. We'll open the buffet in less than a minute. I don't know if it's any order. With a small crowd, we'll install honor the virtues and all of us and not push. But over, etc. or worse. When you go, now there'll be a bracha you haven't made yet. Well, the banana is Adama, but first, in terms of the bracha order, the mushroom barley soup is a mizonos. I believe there's also wheat products, a wheat cracker or wheat. What is there, wheat?
There's pasta and
it's pasta. There's the soup. You make a mizonos. The halacha is, by the way, if there are several items with the same bracha, what do you make a bracha on first? No, if there's several mizonos in front of you. You got cracker, you got pasta, you got mushroom barley soup.
The one you like the best.
The one you like the best. However, I'm just thinking, barley is one of the 7 species, so that may have to take priority. So I would personally put some crackers in my soup and just go with that. Either way, enjoy. They'll be as we'll take some time to go to the buffet and eat, and I'll be passing out some literature on the 7 species. I suggest, implore, eat mindfully, think about Israel, times there, think about all the steps we've gotten to so far, and I'll pass out some things, maybe a little bit, on some ideas of the 7 species. Thank you for the opportunity. This is trailblazing. Tremendous. Thank you. It is.